Laptop computer spins onto the screen, opens, and displays ATP Education Program webinar series, closes, and then spins off the screen.
Captioning solutions. This session will cover various solutions that you can have for captioning your videos. There's a difference between captioning and subtitles. Closed captioning assumes that the viewer cannot hear. They are time synchronized text to the audio content that's on the video, and they include non-speech elements like noises. So you may see elements like musical notes to denote that music is playing, and these are lyrics to a song. Subtitles assume that the viewer can hear but doesn't understand the language. So subtitles translate the audio into other languages and don't include a lot of those non-speech elements. So how are closed captioning and subtitles alike? Well, both can be turned on and off, and they both are synchronized with speech. So the difference between closed captioning and subtitles is closed captioning are intended for the deaf and hard of hearing, and subtitles are intended for the hearing viewers. Subtitles only show the spoken content, whereas closed captions communicate all audio information and includes sound effects, speaker identifications, and other non-speech elements. So what are the benefits of closed captioning? There's a lot of studies that are out there that closed captioning, besides being invaluable for persons who are deaf and hard of hearing, that people who are not deaf and hard of hearing also benefit. And they found out that captioning does aid students when they're learning. It improves comprehension because students are able to read the subtitles as they're going through and understand what is being said. It improves accuracy of what is being heard. It engages the learner. It also helps them retain information. So there are two types of closed captions, or two types of captions. There's open captions, which are burned into the video and don't give the user control to toggle the captions on and off. Closed captions communicate all the audio information, including sound effects, speaker IDs, and non-speech elements. Whereas closed captions are added to a video as a sidecar file, which means that they are separate assets from the video. Thus, closed captions can be turned on and off, whereas open captions are actually burnt into the video and are permanently part of that video. So when you're working with closed captions, there are several practices that you should follow. One, that the captioning must be readable, which means that it is separated from the background so it's easier to read it. Sometimes you'll see they'll put like a white background with black text, or it's a black background with white text that is separated from the video, so it must be readable. It doesn't obstruct the important content of the video. So if the closed captioning is covering up pertinent portions of the video, you want to make sure that you move that caption around or you change where it is located on the screen. So an example would be if you have somebody's name and their title on the bottom of the page. If the caption covers it up, you want to move it around if you want to, or if you're doing like different bullets from a slide, you want to make sure that it doesn't cover up those bullets. You also want to include the speakers' labels, so who they are and what their names are, because sometimes it's very difficult to identify who is speaking. So it really is nice, especially when they're off camera. You want to be at least 99% accurate, and we'll talk a little bit about the accuracy in a bit. You also want to follow the DCMP, the FCC, and the WCAG standards. So when we talk about 99% accuracy, that's the industry standard, and that's what they want you to achieve if you're doing captioning, because they want to make sure that they capture all the relevant information. So you also want to accurately measure punctuation, spelling, and grammar. So with a 99% accuracy rate, you're really looking at an error on average, one error every 2.5 sentences. Now this can be a spelling error, this can be punctuation, it can be all different types of errors. So another trend that's moving in the industry right now is what's called automatic speech recognition. And what automatic speech recognition is, it's a technology that automatically translates your spoken words into a video without any human help. So you'll see something like YouTube video will do some ASR. There are also some other ASR engines. We use a video recording tool called Yuja, and Yuja has an automatic speech recognition technology in it. It means that there's no human that does it. It's all done with artificial intelligence. The problem with automatic speech recognition is it's 80 to 95% accurate. Typically, the punctuation is not even included, or if it is included, it's not always very accurate. And there are no non-speech elements, so you're not going to, it's not going to say that there's music playing in the background. It's not going to identify the speakers. It's not going to identify sounds off screen, or if a speaker is speaking off screen. It's just going to capture those speech elements. So when we talk about automatic speech recognition, ACR, there are quite a few services that are out there that do it. YouTube has an automatic speech recognition engine that will automatically caption your videos. Again, we're looking at 85 to 90% accuracy. It's gotten a lot better over the last several years, but again, you don't want to rely on that for a person who needs to have closed captioning. And we're talking people who are deaf or hard of hearing. We need to get up to that 99% accuracy. However, YouTube does have a way that you can actually edit your captions and clean them up. It's in this handout. We're not going to cover it today, but just want you to be aware of that there is a solution for you to be able to use YouTube to do captioning. Simon Says Transcriptions, SpeedScriber are a couple of the subscription services that will allow you to upload your video, and it will do the automatic speech recognition, transcriptions, and captions. So you'll be able to get those and clean those up. There's ways that you can clean them up, either within their software, or you can actually download them into another app if you need to be able to do it. Otter AI also is another service that does captioning or does that automatic speech recognition. If you get the paid service, after you can, the free service will give you, I think, up to 10 minutes of captions. But if you pay the education rate in Otter AI, you can upload so many videos a month, and it will do the transcript or the automatic speech recognition, and we'll download what's called an SRT file, which is a file that contains all the captioning information, and then you can bring it into another service and have those captions put into your video. So one of the things when you have videos that are captioned, they're not automatically turned on by many of the operating systems. So in your handout, I've put how do you turn your captioning on in the various platforms. So in Chromebook, one of the options you have is turn it on. If you're watching a YouTube video, is turn on the captioning there. On a Mac, you can go ahead and go into their Apple menu and the Apple menu items and system preferences and turn it on there. I'm not going to cover exactly how you go through and do that. There's just not enough time. In Windows, you can go and turn on the captioning on PCs when they're playing a video. So you would basically right-click on anywhere in the video, and you would click on the closed captioning icon. On the iPad, if you go to Settings, Accessibility, Subtitles, and Captioning, and you turn that on, so you would turn on the SDH closed captioning. A lot of them will allow you to also change the style of the way captioning looks. So there are a lot of captioning programs out there. Probably one of the one that's most used or most affordable is called MovieCaptioner. It's available on Windows and Mac. If you want to go real high-end and you're doing real high-end level of captioning, you're looking at Caption Maker or Mac Caption, and those run into the thousands of dollars. ScreenFlow, which is a screen capture and screen editing software that's available on the Mac, also has the ability to be able to do captioning. Final Cut Pro, and we'll show you that in a minute, also has a captioning option in it. And then there's a online service called Cadet that will allow you to be able to do captioning also. All right, so let me just well, let's keep on going. So there's also an app that Apple makes. It's free. It's for making short little videos, and it typically was made for, or the intention I think it was made for, is to do social media videos. Because there's a lot of filters you can put on them. There's stickers you can put on them, soundtracks. But they also have what's called live titles that you can turn on that will do live captioning of your video and allow you to go in and edit that and clean it up. So if you're making a small video, just an informational video or a training video, Clips Live is a great way to be able to do that, because it does create those titles and embed those into your video. So it would be what we would call that open caption. YouTube captions, again, you can go in to YouTube, upload your video, and go into the studio setting and have it do the automatic captioning, and then you can go in and clean that up and export that out, that video out with your captions. iMovie on the iPad, you can also make captions by using titles, and again, those instructions on how to do that are going to be in your handout. Final Cut Pro, those instructions are going to be in the handout also, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So basically, if you're going to set up captions in Final Cut Pro, you're going to open up a project. You're going to go to the Modify menu, Edit Roles, and then you're going to click on Captions and click plus to add a caption role. Then you're going to select the different types of captions that you want within Final Cut Pro. We'll just show you basically how that sets up. All right, so let me just sneak out of here real quick, and I'll go into Final Cut Pro. So you'll see I have a project that's set up with video and audio. And let's bring up the audio here. Let's move into the video just a little bit longer. All right, so you can see I have audio in there, and let me get my earbuds in here so I can hear what's going on here. All right, so basically what I'll do is I'm going to go into my edit, go way down to the bottom, I'm going to go into caption, and I'm going to add a caption. So typically what I would do is I use this CEA 608 English title, and I would type in what he's saying. So it would be Jack opens his eyes. Okay, good. I've got a caption in there now. Look over. Okay, and then I would go in and I just would add my next caption. I can use keyboard shortcuts, or I can go back into here and I can add another caption. And I can continue to add captions along the whole way. And when I export it out, I would export it out with those captions in it. So that's a nice, easy way to do it within a video editing app. So that's Final Cut Pro. Next one I'm going to show you is ScreenFlow. And you'll see in ScreenFlow, when I go in here, okay, so I would go into here, so I go into Adapted Photography, and I would go up into here, and I would add my next one in. So I would listen to that. Let's go into here, let's listen to, okay, cameras with switches. Okay. So that's how I do it within ScreenFlow. Very easy. I export it out, and it's going to include that captioned file within it. The last one I'm just going to give you a brief look at is MovieCaptioner. That's going to show you kind of how that is set up. You'll notice I have on this side, I have all my captions that I've gone through and done. So if I click here, okay, and then I would go and I can clean that up if I want to. I can add it into there. As I'm going through, I can listen to it and I can add those titles as I go through. You can see I've done this project already, but you get an idea. I've got the editing window on the right hand side, and I can watch the video on the left hand side. I'll export those. I can either export that SRT file or that closed caption file, or I can export the video with that file in it. Okay, and continuing on real quick. So When we're doing captioning, a couple tips is you want to transcribe verbatim, so word for word. If there's ums and ahs, which you probably heard me do a lot, those don't need to be transcribed. You do not need to include repeat phrases, so if I repeat something, you don't have to do that. And you want to spell out words instead of using symbols. Only background noises, include those if they're relevant. Background noises should be in brackets. You don't need to include those repeat phrases and spell out words instead of symbols, which I have in there twice. Use square brackets for non-spoken, avoid abbreviations, and you want to put music in square brackets, or if you have the ability to have the symbol of music symbols, you can do that also. The last thing is those automatic speech recognition apps. There's Simon Says, SpeedScriber, and Auto AI and Sync Words are some of those apps that you can get, or programs that you can get to do that. So a couple of resources in your handout: The Ultimate Guide to Closed Captioning, Media Accessibility Information Guidelines, and Research are just a couple of the resources that you can learn more about closed captioning and how to implement them into your projects. Also, guidelines for captioning, MovieCaptioner, SpeedScriber, and Simon Says. There's links to those apps also.
Thank you for watching. For more information on the ATP Education Program, please visit our website at atp.nebraska.gov/education or email us at atp.education@nebraska.gov.